Yo, you guys see me? I had a technical hiccup. Cool. All right. Yeah, I didn't mean to cut it off. It just cut itself off. It fucked me up. Yeah, you guys already know. If I haven't actually dismissed the live stream and signed off, so to speak, I ain't done. Just been trying to fucking get this shit working right, and I don't do a lot of live streaming, so I don't know a whole lot about it. All right. For those that can't see me that aren't seeing it, try refreshing, see if that helps you. Exactly, Jose. Punch it and smack some sense into it till it fucking works. Exactly. Would an undercut work for the greaser look? Yes, if you're trying to do a pompadour, an undercut is pretty much what you're going to want. It's going to help you get your hair how you want it to look. It'll kind of naturally give you this like upswing of a pompadour. It's what I do to my hair. Have I ever used hair tonic? Yeah, I actually did when I was in high school. I used an old school hair tonic called, was it Vitalis? And my dad had recommended it to me because it was an old school hair tonic, and I tried it. It didn't do anything for me because I've got, again, thick, wavy hair, and it didn't really control my hair or do anything I wanted to, and it just dried it out. So I wasn't a big fan, but I did try Vitalis back in the day. And then, of course, I did like your Brill Cream and your Wild Root and stuff like that. I grew up with that stuff. And, of course, like your Murray's, your Dax, your New Nile, shit, what else? Royal Crown and stuff like that. Do I like the movie Stand By Me? Yeah, it's a good movie. It was a lot of fun. How old am I? 28, going on 29, coming up in a few days. Imagine that. How did Vaseline work for me? Oh, man, I remember using Vaseline before I even knew what pomade was. I mean, it was all right, but then again, I was just starting out, so I didn't know much about hair or haircuts and style, and I just heard that some greasers used to use Vaseline, so I used it. I should actually get a tub of Vaseline and actually do like a review on it and try it out with what I know now. Well, thank you, Cord Sham. Appreciate it. Happy early birthday to me. I kind of wish it was like Metal Gear Solid 5, where I get off the chopper and the whole base is like you can't see anybody and it's like and then all of a sudden everybody comes out, happy birthday, happy birthday. I actually thought that was pretty cool. That's a good way to do a birthday. And they did it on Big Boss, aka Venom Snake, aka Fake Big Boss. That was actually pretty cool. Hey, glad it could help, Jose. Glad the pomade reviews helped. To get a haircut similar to mine, I would tell I'd ask your barber to do a fade on the sides and in the back, and then go for like an undercut on top. And then you can kind of like do it in a pompadour if you like. You can kind of do like a little side comb pompadour like I'm doing right now. It's up to you. Cadence, do I have a girlfriend? Yes, I do. All right, what is my favorite? One of again, I have certain cars that I specifically like, but one of my favorites is a 49 Merc, 49, 50, and even yeah, like the 49 and 50, I really dig. And of course, it's got to be lower. The top's got to be chopped on it. It's got to be low to the ground, kind of old school bomb look. That's what I go for. And then like your 55 Chevys, and of course like your 34s, your 32s, your 29 hot rods, like your Fords and Model Ts, Model As, stuff like that. And of course, I don't like anything really stock. I like everything lowered, and I like it chopped. That's what I'm used to seeing, and that's what I really like. I grew up with seeing different car shows, and you'd see a lot of the hot rods that were done up like that. So I kind of dig the chopped and lowered look on most of the cars, and even the trucks too. Like the later 40s truck, or like the later 40s and like through the 50s and the later 50s, like Fords and Chevy trucks. Do I like Harley Davidsons? Yeah, Harley's okay. When it comes to bikes, I prefer like the Triumphs or the BSAs, because like in the 40s and 50s, that was pretty much what was king when it came to motorcycles. All of your big, your big rebel types like Marlon Brando, James Dean, Steve McQueen, all them dudes, they all rode Triumphs. But when it comes to Harleys, I like the old knuckleheads, like the late 40s, like the mid 40s, like the 46, 47. I dig the knuckleheads a lot. I really like that look with the big fenders on them, and how they had like the low riding bobber seat, a little bit higher handlebars. I thought that was pretty cool. Do shorts work for the greaser style? Never been a big fan of shorts for the greaser style. I knew some guys that would wear them. If you're going to wear shorts, wear like the Dickie shorts, like the regular Dickie shorts, and then, just your socks and your Chucks, or maybe some slip-ons or something like that. Again, I've never been a real big fan for the shorts don't really go with the greaser look, really, but, I mean, there's a lot of rockabilly guys that will wear the shorts, and, I mean, if you want to wear shorts, wear shorts. That's about the best I can tell you. I mean, any of the cats that I ever grew up with that wore shorts, that did that were greasers, or still active greasers, they would wear the Dickie shorts. Dickie was a real big thing for from the pants to the Eisenhower style Dickie jackets. Pants, shorts, and jackets were always Dickies. Okay, that's a good question. You're thinking about getting a psychobilly haircut. So you're thinking about getting like the psychobilly quiff that goes forward, like the sides and the back are shaved, and everything, like instead of like rolling it back, you push everything forward and up and out to like a point. Like the traditional psychobilly quiff that I grew up with. Would I recommend doing like spider webs or designs? No. No, that's kind of like a rapper thing where they would do like they would cut money signs into their hair or stuff like that. I don't dig that personally. I mean, if you want to, that's your prerogative, but I don't recommend it. I mean, that might be something that cats are doing now, but it's definitely something I would never consider doing. How do you get friends into greasing, and what is a good spot to meet up? What is a good spot to meet up? I actually answered this question not long back, just here in this last live stream before it cut out. Again, the only thing you can do is show people like what you're into and why you're into it. Show them music, show them the car shows, the backyard shows if you got them, the different rockabilly, psychobilly events. If it's something they want to get into, they'll get into it. If not, then that's perfectly fine. You know what I mean? You can't really make anybody do what they don't want to do. And if you tried, that wouldn't be cool anyway. But where can you meet greasers or rockabilly guys? You can meet them at car shows, drag strips, rockabilly. Where they have the rockabilly bands play, psychobilly bands and shows. You could typically meet greasers there, and throughout the country. And I don't know where you live in the country here in the U.S. or if you live overseas somewhere in Europe or whatever, but depending on where you are also dictates how many greasers or rockabillys you're going to run into. If like you're in the Southern California area, they're all over the place. You'll meet them all over the fucking place. All you got to do is show up to a rockabilly show. Guaranteed you're going to meet guys and gals there. But like there's certain places where they don't have a scene for it. They might be playing rockabilly music, but nobody in there is really a greaser. So it really just depends on the area that you're in. What smoke do I represent or do I recommend? None. If you're not a smoker, don't get started. I don't really recommend anything when it comes to smoking. That's just a personal choice. United Atlantic, what's up, brother? How you doing? Top 5 beers. If you don't drink, you might, that's different than smoking. I mean, if you don't drink and it's not really your thing, don't really get started. But I'm not saying you shouldn't go out and at least try a beer when you're at least old enough. You know what I mean? To drink. Top 5 beers. Love Pabst Blue Ribbon, Rolling Rock, King Cobra, Budweiser's all right. Coors, I love Coors. Trying to think. Dos Equis, Red Stripe. Tecate is pretty good. What else do I like to drink from time to time? Corona is pretty good. I actually dig Corona. Yeah, when it comes to import beers, I haven't really tried anything else besides more of your like Mexican beers. I've done like Guinness. I'm not a big fan of Guinness. I've never done any of the Newcastle, but I need to. I need to try some of the Nuki, like Nuki Brown and stuff like that. For me, I'm a big lager fan. I've never been a bitter guy or anything like that. I've done some of the Red Apples Ale. I've done some of the Shock Top. Shock Top, like the original like orange Shock Top, is pretty good. I dig that. I'm not a big IPA fan or a microbrew fan. I typically like your just trailer trash fucking lager beers. You know what I mean? That's what I grew up with. And I grew up with a lot of like hood beer growing up in North Long Beach. So I grew up with a lot of King Cobras and Mickeys and 211 and stuff like that. Colt 45, Magnum. Do I listen to punk? Yes, I actually answered this question a little bit earlier. When it comes to punk, I like a lot of the old school punk bands. I go with like Black Flag, the Vandals, the Ramones, Circle Jerks, Dead Kennedys, stuff like that. What is my opinion on the Gothic style? I don't know a whole lot about it. I knew a few goth kids in high school. We did have some goth kids, but they were always hanging and running with the nerdy kids. They were usually like pretty much loners and hung out with the nerdy kids. Back in those days, they were playing like with the Yu-Gi-Oh cards and listening to goth music. They'd be the guys or the gals sitting in the corner all dressed in black with the headphones on and just be like, I didn't really know a whole lot of goths. I never got into it. It wasn't my scene. I don't think I actually had any goths hanging out at my spot back in the day either. They kind of just did their own thing and kept to themselves. I had no problem with them. I had no problem with goth. It is what it is. I don't really, for me, I don't hate on a bunch of shit. You know what I mean? It's not my way, so. Hey, fantastic, Ozark. Which shirt are you repping? How long am I going to stream? I've already done it for like a consistent hour before. I got started a little bit later than I wanted because of just trying to figure out the fucking configurations. That's always the hardest part. I'll probably be streaming maybe for another 20 minutes at best, somewhere around there. What's my favorite style of martial arts? Um, I've done a lot of different martial arts. I don't hate on any style at all. I think there's something to learn in each style. Each style is unique in and of itself, and there are certain things that I think are really cool and predominant to certain styles. I take more the Bruce Lee method, where you learn as much as you can, and you take what is good from those different systems and apply it to yourself. Because not everybody is meant for a certain style, and not everybody naturally fits in to certain styles. Some styles are more athletic, some are a little bit more, I think, defense-wise practical. You have to take what works for you in different systems and styles and combine them and put together your own way of fighting, so to speak. And once you do that, you'll be on the right track. I would say a good place to start if you're looking for a good art to start with, or maybe a couple. Kajukenbo is really good because it's a combination of old Kempo karate, the Japanese, traditional Japanese, or not even the Japanese, because it was actually Okinawan, like the old Okinawan karate with the Kempo karate, like the American Kempo, Ed Parker stuff. You're going to see judo and jiu-jitsu mixed in there, and of course boxing. It's a really good overall system that's very practical. There's no rules. It's like a dirty fighting system. It's going to teach you how to protect yourself. And of course, that's kind of the American equivalent of like Krav Maga, Israeli Krav Maga. That's a really good system as well. It teaches you how to react and how to defend against multiple attackers. And it doesn't tell you like, oh, you're going to go like this and then like this and then like this, and I'm going to use my chi powers and knock somebody out. It's nothing like that. You know, it's like keep your hands up, be on alert, be looking. Somebody comes in, bah, 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 boom. Somebody comes in, bang, boom. You know, it's like it's real fast paced and it's really combat related. Anything combat related, I'm into. I'm not so much into sport fighting. I'm not into like stuff that's designed to get into a cage and compete, because I'm not a fighter. I'm not like a professional fighter or anything. I wouldn't want to be. It's just to be able to defend myself. That's what martial arts was always about for me. So if that answers your question. Do greasers wear bomber jackets? Of course they do. Is Murray's pomade good? Yes, it is, depending on what you have, what kind you get, and what kind of hair type you have, and how thick it is, and if it's straight, if it's curly, it's wavy, how you use it. If you get the Murray Superior, the Murray Super Light, the beeswax, it just depends. But Murray stuff has always been real good. Have I ever heard of mods and rockers? Yes, I have. Yes, indeed, I have. The mods and the rockers. The rockers were the British equivalent to greasers, and the mods were the American equivalent to, Socs. Does the Madman own any guns? Yes, I do. Yes, indeed, I do. And I do like to go shooting from time to time. Thank you, Asian Greaser. Exactly. There is no fixed answer if pomade is good or not, but the best is to see how it works on you and experiment. Exactly. That's exactly what I say in a lot of my different pomade reviews. Experiment, experiment, experiment. If you don't try, you won't know. If you don't go, you won't know. So give it a try. Try different things. Try different techniques. That's how we did it back in the day. We didn't know what was good and what wasn't. We knew what other guys would use. We would see it. We would copy it. We would try it. and see if it worked for us. And it was always just experimentation, you know, and everybody is different. So what might be good for me might not be good for you. So you're just going to have to kind of like try things. And if you watch one of my reviews and you say, hey, my hair type is really similar to that. And yeah, I got like the wavy, thick hair or whatever. Yeah, I'll give that a try, and then try it and see how it works for you. Quadrophenia, I've actually seen scenes from that. Rock and Roll Joker sent me some scenes from Quadrophenia. Looks good. How do I keep people from messaging me that say they beat the shit out of someone, or some kid who tried to stab me with scissors or whatever? Some do. Like, some will message me and try to tell me about their fights. All I can tell them is, like, don't start anything, but don't take any shit either. You know, there's really no way of really stopping somebody from messaging you unless you block them or whatever, but it happens, Kat. It happens. You'll see it. Do I know any greaser gangs in the UK? No, I do not. Any tips on how to keep a live stream entertaining? I don't know. Hopefully mine is entertaining. I don't know if it is. Maybe it's not. I'm sure I'm going to have the a couple people like, your shit fucking sucks, dude. That shit's cringe. Lame. I don't know, man. Just be you. Have fun. You know, be light. Laugh a lot. Have a good time. If you're enjoying it and you're really into it, it probably will be entertaining. Well, good. I'm glad you think so, Ozark. Thanks, brother. Tell you romantic experiences. Oh, fuck, hell no, man. Man don't like to get in touch with his feelings. Oh, shit, I'm out of cigarettes with that pack. Time to open up a new one. Yeah, man don't really like to get too much into his feelings. His feelings. Oh, he got the feelings. See, the era that I came up in and the guys I hung around with, man, like, you never really talked about your emotions. You didn't really talk about your feelings. Like, the last thing you ever wanted to do was, like, show any kind of emotions in front of, like, the guys. You know what I mean? Like, you didn't want to cry or get all fucking butthurt about something, because then you got, like, people would laugh at you. They tease you. You're like, oh, man, oh, you got it, we got it. It's like, if I remember, I'd be there, stood there with the guys, and one of them would start in on me with something, and then they would all jump in. So I got like 4 or 5 guys just roasting the fucking shit out of me, and I'd just be stood there. And all you can do when you're in that moment where you're like in the center and they're just all roasting the shit out of you is all you can do is stand there and take it. It's like getting beat up by it's like a verbal beating. You know what I mean? It's like what happens when you get 4 or 5 dudes that are beating on you. All you could do is cover up and swing and just take the beating and hope that you survive it, and maybe you get a few licks in here and there. All you can do is sit there and keep firing back, even when you know you're losing. Like, you could just feel this wave of verbal assaults just hitting you, you know what I mean? And some of them cut really deep. And all you can do is sit there and take it, and just, as long as you take it and dish it back out, and you don't get butthurt, man, you'll be all right. They'll be like, it's respect, man, respect. He took it. He took it like a man. He didn't get all butthurt. He didn't cry about it, you know? Oh. Have I ever been stabbed? No. But I did have a knife put in my back when I was in high school. From another greaser, by the way. I'll tell you that story. That'll be in the book, but I'm going to tell the story. It's a short story. It was in 9th grade. I had just started being a greaser, and I was hanging with some of the guys at the park after school. And one of the guys was a little bit older than me. And I was sat there on the grass, like we just like take our like our binders, throw them on the grass, we'd hang out. One of the guys would go smoke pot or whatever, and then the other guy and his girl would go fuck in the bathroom and this, that, and the other. And his younger cousin, who was like a year older than me, we were sat there, and he had this like steak knife that he had like cut down and sharpened up really good into like a shank, and he wrapped some like electrical tape around it. He put it in my back. He came up behind me while I was sitting on the grass, and he just puts this thing in my back and kind of like grabs me. He's like, "What are you gonna do?" And I remember like being really scared inside. I just looked ahead, and I was just like, kind of like, nothing. You got me, man. You're going to do what you're going to do. So if you're going to stab me, you might as well fucking do it, man. Like, there's nothing I can do now. Like, you got the drop on me. Do what you got to do. Go ahead, man. Like, if you really want to be about that, if that's what you want to do, man, do what you got to do. And he was like, I'm just fucking with you. I'm just fucking with you, man. Don't be a little bitch, man. Everything's cool. I'm like, yeah, everything's cool, man. I remember, like, I never trusted him ever again the same way. I just thought it was fucked up. But it's like when you're in that moment, and then again, man, back in those days, I wasn't really in shape, and I wasn't training or nothing like that at that time. There was really nothing I could do. You know what I mean? This dude had a fucking shank in my back, and he's got the drop on me. It's like, well, you're going to do what you're going to do. And that's really all you can do is just, like, kind of just knuckle up and wait for something to happen. Do I like Levi 501s? Yeah, I dig them, but I've never had a pair. That's one thing. The Mad Matt has never had a pair of 501s. When I was in high school growing up, I knew one cat that got a pair of 501s. We were like, whoa, that's cool, man, because they were expensive. Like, all the guys I grew up with, man, like their moms or dads, or they would save up, and like they would get whatever jeans were on sale, whether that be like Wrangler or Rustler, you know, like just shit you'd find at Walmart, you know, like nobody I knew was getting the Levi's, you know. And then like I remember he saved up his money. He got a pair of 501s. We thought that was really fucking cool. That was like really big doings for us because that was like, you know, an original old school brand. And then that full, like later on he had saved up and he got a good deal on a Pendleton shirt for like $80. And he had like this Pendleton, like, you know, flannel shirt. We're like, oh, that's cool, dude. Like none of us had Pendletons. He was like the only one that had it. So to us, it was like really cool. I agree. We should see Voodoo Larry's work on television. I actually follow Voodoo Larry. I like Voodoo Larry. He's pretty cool. Any brands I go for when I buy greaser gear? No. If you guys have seen I've seen that video I did about brands. I don't go by brand. I go by style and fit and cut and the way it looks. Getting caught up in brand is not really the way to go. It's cool to have certain brands, like it's cool to have you know, to have like a fucking Shot Perfecto leather jacket, or you know, a pair of Levi 501s, or like a pair of Chippewa or Wesco engineer boots. You know, because those are old school retro brands from back in the day. That's what a lot of them were wearing back then. But you know, those are expensive as fuck, man. I mean, I remember when I did the video, I did the Levi 501s, the Shot Perfecto, the Chippewa 1949 engineer boots, and I think I did the Keds, or no, the PF Flyers. Just for those things alone, it was like over $1,000 just to get all those things. If you were to buy them straight from the manufacturers and stuff, I mean, it gets expensive, guys. Don't so much go for brand, go for style, and look for deals. Like I've always told you, look for the deals. Check, retro shops. Check the used clothes stores, thrift shops. Go on Amazon. Amazon's a really good place to find stuff. Check out eBay. There's always stuff on eBay, retro stuff for good prices. You can find stuff there. Just make sure it's in your size, the style that you're looking for, and that it's, good quality. Here's another thing to think about with brands, and just another thing I thought of from that video that I did. The reason that the guys were wearing those brands back in the day is because those were the brands that were available to them. To them, that was just like regular on-the-shelf clothes, just regular stuff. The boots, the jeans, the jackets, that was just what was available to them. Just like a lot of the different jeans and jackets and stuff are available to us. You got to remember, these companies were not where they are now. Now these different companies are expensive and popular because they are retro. It's a novelty. So they can afford to get away with selling at those prices. Back in those days, those clothes were nowhere near what they are now when it comes to price. So keep that in mind. That was just common for them back then. How old do you have to be a greaser? You can start anytime you like, really. Doesn't really matter. It don't really matter. As long as you're into it, man, I say go for it. What beer am I drinking? Pabst Blue Ribbon. What do you have? Pabst Blue Ribbon. What do you have? Pabst Blue Ribbon. What do you have? Pabst Blue Ribbon. Pabst Blue Ribbon beer. That's the old school jingle for this beer, by the way. Yes, I'm seeing a lot of Frosty stuff popping up. Guys, I already covered this earlier. I already told my thoughts on the Frosty incident. You guys can go back and watch it later if you like. I'm not really getting into it anymore. The whole thing is absurd to me. It brought a very bad image on what we do. And let's just say the guy who did the videos wasn't wrong in his assessment on Frosty. What is a poser greaser to me? That's a good question. A poser greaser is someone who just mimics the style. They mimic the hair, maybe the clothing. They don't really know about the music. They don't know about the culture, the history. They're not really into anything else but the style. And they just like to parade around like it's a fashion show because they want to get attention. And, we've known cats like that back in the day. Even in high school, we knew some guys that would like try to dress like greasers, but they really weren't greasers, and they didn't last long. You know what I mean? Because they were on to the next big thing. And to us, they were just posers, and we didn't pay them no mind. It's like they were a joke, and you know, you're not with us, kind of a thing. The greaser rockabilly thing is a subculture. It's a culture. It's its own entity. It's its own separate thing. And you have people from all around the world that do it. Yeah, I hear you, Patrick. Frost. I mean, Frosty brought it on himself. You know, what can I say? He gave a lot of very bad advice and treated this subculture, this whole thing, as a big joke, and he fucked it up for a lot of people, man. He brought a lot of bad attention on us, so here I am trying to give good advice and trying to show a lot, show a lot of these younger cats how to do it, what it's all about, and they take it and run with it in a weird style, in a weird way, and they do weird shit with it, and what do you expect? You do fucked up weird stuff, man. You're going to get blowback somewhere for it. It's life. The best advice that I can say right now for all of the greaser rockabilly community is we got to move forward and just keep it real. Frosty ain't a greaser, all right? Straight up. He's not really a greaser. He's some kid that ultimately, he's some kid that watched fucking YouTube too much, saw too many fucking greaser videos, said, hey, I want to get attention and I'm going to do this too. And he started doing videos and giving bad advice and doing stupid shit. And somebody saw it, and they made a joke out of him for it. It's about what it is. I mean, the kid is what, 13, 14, 15 at best? What the fuck does he really know about greasing? How many years has he really spent doing this thing? You know what I mean? It'd be like me being in high school back in the day, just starting out going, I know about being a greaser. Let me give you guys advice. It's like, what have you been through? Like, who are you? Where do you come from? What have you been through? But the best thing that we can do right now is just move forward, forget it happened, and just get on with the damn thing. You know what I mean? To me, it ain't really a big deal. What happened, happened. There's no changing it. There's no unseeing it. We just got to move forward and keep it positive and show good positive examples of what being a greaser is about. It's not about doing stupid shit and having greaser powers and slitting people's throats and planting weed on people and blame, and snitching. That's not what being a greaser is about. It's stupid. And I covered this earlier in my live stream in more detail, so you guys can go back and check that out if you like. I pretty much covered it at the beginning, even though I had a lot of hiccups with the stream. Well, guys, I'm looking at the time here. I'm going to go ahead and call this live stream done. I'm getting a lot of repeat questions that I've answered a couple times already. But hey, I really appreciate you guys coming to hang out at the live stream with the Madman. We hit 5,000 really fast. Look at it, shit. I think we're already almost up to 5,200. You guys fucking rock. You guys are awesome. Thank you very, very much for being supportive of being here. You know, without you guys, man, I'm just another fucking voice in the wind or another fart in the wind. You know what I mean? So I appreciate your guys' support. Thank you very much. Do what you guys do. If you really love greasing, it's your thing. Keep doing it. Don't let anybody discourage you. You know, be into what you're into. Different strokes for different folks. And on that note, I'm going to go ahead and hang up the spurs for the night, do a little bit more drinking, maybe get some more sleep because I'm actually pretty tired and I need to get some sleep eventually here. So if you don't know, here we go. Drum roll, please. If you don't know, get a clue, get a brew, get a rock and roll tattoo. Hang loose and be safe. The Madman is out. Dismissed.